Hello and welcome once again to another chapter of the Advanced Project Management Certification. I'm Ibby Taylor, as you know by now, and in this one we're looking at cost management. Now, cost and budgets are supremely important, especially in this day and age where money is tight for people and also for businesses. So budgets and cost is normally very high on the agenda for any project. So every project hinges on three critical constraints: scope, schedule, and cost. Among these, managing project costs is often the most daunting. Project cost management is not merely about keeping expenses low, it's about ensuring that every dollar spent adds value to the outcome, aligns with business goals, and adheres to the projected budget. Whether constructing a skyscraper or launching a mobile application, the ability to plan, budget, and control those project costs can determine the success or failure of an initiative. And I can't stress that enough. Cost management is supremely important. So cost management comprises several critical processes that work together seamlessly to ensure financial success. So cost estimation. So estimating the cost of resources, labour and materials necessary to complete a project. So an example here, for an IT infrastructure project, estimations may include purchasing server hardware and paying for software licenses. Techniques: analogous estimation, so using historical data; parametric estimation, which is cost per measurable unit; and bottom-up estimation, which is adding costs from all the low-level components to get an idea of the whole. Cost budgeting, so allocating estimated costs to project tasks or phases to create financial frameworks. So a marketing plan may allocate 50% of its budget towards digital advertising and 30% to influencer partnerships. And there's a lot of projects that now work in this manner, where you take chunks and say, right, 20% of my money's there, 30%'s there, 30%'s there. And then cost control, so monitoring costs throughout the project lifecycle to identify variances and take corrective actions. Very important. So using earned value analysis, an EVM, earned value management, to compare budgeted costs versus actual expenditure at different project phases. So if you've got certain budgets for each phase, it's always good during the closure of that phase to go, right, we said we were going to spend $10,000. How much did we spend? If we're under, why are we under? Did we miss something? Did we do something very well? Did we do the job that we had set out to do, but in a lower time or in a quicker manner? Or if you've overspent, why did we overspend? Again, did we miss something? It's all about understanding, at every step of the process, your cost. So EVM, which is just touched on there, tracks the project performance using three key metrics, which is the planned value, the earned value, and then the actual cost. So identifying that a construction project has spent more than planned, yet completed less than expected work. So it provides early signals to make course corrections. It highlights those red flags quickly. Cost aggregation combines individual activity costs into larger categories, ensuring budget accuracy. For example, merging the cost for materials, labour and equipment into a manufacturing project, bringing them all together, and it gives you a clear expense breakdown for financial oversight. And then variance analysis compares budgeted costs to the actual expenditures to identify gaps. So detecting increased supplier costs for raw materials in a food processing project. And again, these are things that can happen during the project. You might be delivering something and the cost of something that you're using, even just in the time that you've been delivering the project, might go up. And you might not have bought everything at the start of the project. You might be looking at a phased rollout. You might be rolling out IT infrastructure where you're purchasing PCs and you might be doing 100 at a time. And then you go in to buy your next 100 and actually it's twice the price. And this is where you see those variances and you think, hold on a minute, what's going on? And this helps teams identify and resolve problems before reaching crisis levels. And in that instance, you'd probably have to pump the brakes a little bit, go back to the customer and probably have a look to renegotiate the financials. Trend analysis analyzes cost trends over time to predict future deviations. So again, if you're buying in PCs and you're seeing that every 6 months the cost is going up and you've got a project that's running for 12 months, it's probably a safe assumption to say, right, there might be a cost increase 6 months in. What do we do to counter for that? So monitoring monthly advertising expenditures for a product launch predicts cost overruns, enabling timely adjustments. It's all about being aware. It's all about planning, using the information available to you. Not just the internal things, the external things. Let's look at what's happening in the wider picture, in the market. And then cost baseline and forecasting. Establishing a finalised cost baseline and continuously revising the forecasts. So software development projects requiring frequent adjustments due to scope changes. Software projects are notorious for this because they work iteratively. They're giving the customer bit by bit. You know, here you go, Mr. Customer, here's your alpha build. They then come back and say, right, actually I like this, but I don't like X, Y, and Z, can we change it? The financials, the baselines and the forecasts will then need to change as a result. And this provides a reference point to track financial performance effectively. Now, a few additional considerations here. So lifecycle costing examines costs not just during project delivery, but throughout the entire lifecycle of the project. So budgeting, maintenance and operational costs for a building project. Once you've delivered it, what's next? What's after that? You know, maintenance and operational costs are going to exist after delivery. It's going to be a continuous thing throughout the life cycle of this project. Value engineering analyzes project functions and aims to improve costs without reducing quality. So switching to cost-effective but durable building materials in construction, is there anything we can do differently? Do we have to use the same supplier? Do we have to use the same materials? Do we have to use the same resource? Can we change it and still get the best possible outcome? So contingency is about allocating extra reserves for the unexpected risks. So creating a 10% contingency for a marketing campaign due to variable ad costs. Things go up and down, things can cost more. If you build in that buffer, you build in that safety net, like the example I mentioned before, if you've got an idea something could change in 6 months and you're delivering this project for a year, build in that buffer, build in that contingency. Because then if it does happen, you are as prepared as you can possibly be. And then cost of quality includes prevention, appraisal and failure costs, both internal and external. So preventative maintenance reduces breakdown expenses for equipment. And this is the same with anything you deliver. Have you considered, you know, it's the same as owning a car. You get it serviced every year in order to try and prevent larger expensive breakdowns. Integration with financial systems using accounting software for automated updates on spending and return on investment tracking, ROI. So tools like SAP or Oracle for managing large-scale project budgets. Now applications, again, I'm not going to go through all of these. We'll have a look at the first one together. And then when you go through, think about the cost implications. Think about the cost management that's happened within these examples and try and understand it. So you've got a healthcare system deployment here. Processes used is cost estimating and monitoring. Techniques that were used is resource allocation and trend analysis. And the outcome, they achieved a seamless deployment of hospital systems within the allotted 10 million. So you use the cost estimating, and that was done well to estimate what the overall cost is going to be. And obviously monitored it throughout the delivery of the project, and that's key. It's not to say that you estimate the cost and something doesn't go wrong, because there are still things completely outside of your control. Even in that example, there could have been something whereby the cost change way outside of variance, way beyond any buffer that's been planned in, and would still lead to problems that need to be solved. So have a look through the rest of these examples and give some thought to the cost processes and techniques. Once you get to the end of these 10 examples, as always, you've got your summary tables. Read through, double check your own understanding of cost management. And then once you've done that, you've got, as always, the practice questions. Give these a go, see how you get on. If you do struggle, go back and read through, come back and watch this video again, challenge your own understanding of cost management. And if you do still continue to struggle, as I always say, just reach out to us. We're here for you. So, give it a go, see how you get on. And until the next time, I've been Ibby Taylor. Thank you very much. This has been Cost Management, and I will see you for the next chapter.